So number one, Hedera and Algorand partnered to develop decentralized wallet recovery system. Shout out to our fellow community member, GG, aka Digital G on the X platform for providing this information. How cool was that? It says here, blockchain ecosystems, Hedera and Algorand collaborate on a new alliance and open source protocol to troubleshoot the need for decentralized recovery or digital assets. Now, in the past, I think over a year ago, I said, watch out. Maybe in 2024 or 2025, you're going to see some big things for Hedera when it comes to seed recovery or anything about recovery. And it's going to be game changer when it comes to wallets, because we will know that when we get to the point of not just like, ETF approvals and things like that, but the key for mass adoption going into like maybe a utility run or this new next phase of the crypto, boom cycle, bull markets, you name it, right? This next bull run that we're going into, that Hedera is going to give us some updates when it comes to this. Say what you want when it comes to instilling confidence for new investors or old investors that lost their, when it came to like FTX or Terra Luna or anything like that. When they hear things of, I'm a noob, hate to say that, I don't know what I'm doing. So if I actually lose my seed phrase, God forbid, because I was too lazy to write down or whatever case be. I'm not saying people, are all lazy to do that, but we got, some people actually just lose it for whatever reason. I don't know. But if you have a solution that's provided from Hedera, I think that's big. But also Algorand. So what is this? Well, it says major players from within the Hedera and Algorand ecosystems, including Hbar Foundation and Algorand Foundation, announced a launch of a new alliance called the Derec Alliance on January 11th, today, to build a decentralized recovery system for digital assets. This is absolutely huge news, in my opinion, for both Hedera and Algorand. And the alliance, which was unveiled at the Crypto Finance Conference in St. Moritz by Lehman Baird, Dr. Lehman Baird, co-founder, as we know, of Hedera, and John Woods, Chief Technology Officer over at Algorand, during a joint panel, announced a few key things. And if anything, I'm going to bring you to some of these key things that was mentioned. I'll give you this quote real quick. It says, all blockchains need to work together to create a compatible standard across all wallet software on all blockchains. Now, why is this so significant other than what was mentioned here? I'll give you some of my notes in a bit, but what I want to do now is I want to take you to this specific clip that was provided by a link from, Digital G, aka GG. So I don't know if GG is here tonight in our attendance on the live chat, but where the case be, look at this. This guy, CFC St. Moritz, right? Because we just mentioned that. It says, newsflash, this morning's panel, like we mentioned, back to everything on the previous page, right? You will see, why is it doing that? My God, I just kind of annoyed my keyboard or whatever. Hold on a second. I got to fix that. I don't want to zoom in like that. I just got a new keyboard because the other one just kept disconnecting. So sorry about that. But yeah, we're going to play this for a second. It is a clip that gets right to the point of this discussion of why this is so significant. So we're going to play this clip, and then I have another one I want to get into that's straight from the full video. We'll play roughly about 5 minutes of that. So, about 5 to 6 minutes of this. Listen to this. Very, very bullish news, in my opinion. And if you have just connected and you like Hbar, Algorand, you're in for a treat. Listen to this. Here we go.
It is the Derec Alliance, decentralized recovery. So DeFi is decentralized finance. Derec is decentralized recovery. So it's the Derec Alliance. And, Algorand and Hedera are involved right now, but other blockchains will also be involved, and we are recruiting others. And then we have lots of other people involved. We have wallets involved. We have people building apps for banks, people building apps for credit unions. So the building blocks and Bank Social are two that are building for them. We have wallets involved, and we want to get even broader people like password managers involved. It is.
All right. Now, hear me out, okay? I know that Mr. Mike Cornwell is going to absolutely love or probably does love the idea that literally you heard Dr. Lehman Baird mention by name Bank Social. It's one thing to see Hedera retweet about it, but now you have the head honcho, Dr. Lehman Baird, mention Bank Social. Bank Social is very undervalued right now. A lot of people consider it a low market cap gem. I do need to get on that train. I'll be honest, and I'll look more to cover it a little bit more. We already done a few videos on them. So there's that. Let's take you to the next part of this because it's good. I fast forwarded over to some key areas. Let's put the Algorand one back on. And so let's jump into it. This is straight from YouTube. Yep. And I shared the wrong one. I just shared like a screen of you guys. Jeez. All right, let me fix that. So here we go. There we go. All right, so this is fast forwarded to this mark. Hedera and Algorand ecosystems for Derec Alliance enabling mass market decentralized recovery. Posted literally 18 hours ago. There's a fuller, more of a full description about this joint operation for a panel on layer 1 superpowers. Listen to this key part. Listen to Dr. Lehman Baird here, and there's some more that they chime in with these guys. All right, let's play this.
And so the important thing here is that it be interoperable. We have one standard. It doesn't even matter what the standard is. And this will become an IETF standard. This is going to become real standards. But the important thing is that you have a wallet on one blockchain, and I have a password manager, and somebody else has the app that they use to access their bank. And each of us can be helpers to each other and sharing information with each other because it's interoperable. Right. That's the important thing, is that we have one standard, that it's open, that it's reviewed by everyone, that it becomes actual internet standards. This is the important thing. 10 competing standards where every wallet can't talk to each other is bad.
Right, absolutely. Well, and so it sounds like you're structuring this to be really open and permissionless, where people can adopt the standard directly. And so I take it this isn't like a foundation or formal membership. It's just you're creating this open infrastructure.
Both. So we're creating the Derec Alliance that people can join, but we're also creating, the Alliance itself is creating libraries that are free software to make it easy for you to add this to your app. The idea is you just add a few lines of code to your app, and now you have Derec. That's the idea. And so you don't have to join anything. You just download it from GitHub and go. Right. Or if you want to, you can join and you can help influence it. You can influence what the standard is. It is not owned by any one person. That's the goal.
So I presume this has been open source then?
All open source.
Very much so.
Yes.
And we're going to have a technical committee of which the Algorand Foundation and of course Swirls Labs and Hedera are founding members, and members will rotate over time, and other members will be elected. We want folks from across the industry, from across the chains, from across various entities that are interested in this to come and help. To be successful, it has to be open. It has to be able to be something that is not controlled again by one entity or one company, one chain. And so it is very much in the DNA of this initiative to have others from across the industry influence and develop it.
And these two ecosystems are just the first two members. Right. They're not special. There'll be many members that are all equal. There's nothing special about these two.
Right.
And our goal is to not be special. That's our goal.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very smart. You look at the most successful internet standards, and they're all neutral. They're all open. That's what gets the broadest adoption.
Right. And if you look at TLS, the transport layer security that encrypts our traffic as we browse the websites, different browsers implement it in different ways, sure. But there's a defined standard on what it means to be TLS compatible, on what it means to be secure. And so, even if folks choose not to use the reference implementation that's going to be provided, that's fine. Yeah. You can take the standard, implement it yourself, implement it in Rust, implement it in a different language that you prefer. I couldn't be more excited to do this with you.
Oh yeah, this is very exciting. It's a very simple standard for what bytes go over the internet. And we'll have libraries that you can use, or you can ignore them and just make the bytes go over the internet yourself. Write it all from scratch. It all works.
And even at the protocol level, which defines, as Lehman's already said, hey, I've got a key. How do I make sure if I lose this key, I don't end up in trouble? Answer, I distribute the shards of the key to my helpers, to the individuals who I trust in my circle of friends and family. And the protocol defines how we can check with those individuals, or indeed the computers that they run, to make sure that they're still alive and active, and I can rely upon them if I ever need to recover my key. But even that protocol itself, sure, we've started with what we think is a very strong implementation. But over time, just like SSH has evolved or other protocols on the internet have evolved, we may add elements to that, remove elements, modify it. And so this stuff is not it's not stuck in time. It's going to evolve over time. But ultimately, always with an eye for staying decentralized, ensuring that we have best-in-class engineering and applied cryptography so that it's secure. And I think doing so in a way that it is agnostic to any one party.
Right.
Exactly. So it's very simple protocols for how do I make you be my helper? How do I send you information? How do I recover the information? How do I check every day that you still have it? My phone does that automatically. All of that is the protocols. These will be tweaked over time. They will evolve over time, but they're very simple and straightforward. I keep saying it's not rocket science. It's using very standard cryptography, very standard concepts, but it's desperately needed. We need the safety net.
Honestly, it's shocking it hasn't been done before.
I think they've tried it. I just think it's, well, from in my assessment, I should speak for myself, is that anyone who's tried it before has done so in a way that is somehow biased towards something, whether it's a technology or a party or otherwise.
Right.
This implementation, Lehman, do you want to?
Yeah, so there have been biases. Often you have to use a smart contract on a blockchain or something. Also, often the world can see who your helpers are. Also, I don't think anyone has done this where you're checking every day.
Right.
Honestly, if you give this to your friends and family and you never check, I guarantee you, one by one, they're going to lose it. You'll never know it until you need it, and then it's too late.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm impressed that it's dynamic and not static, right? I've helped with a lot of key ceremonies over the decade with different protocols, and usually it's a static key instead of here's a dynamic solution.
Right. And this is key. Pun intended, because social recovery has existed for a while, right? Sure, you can use Shamir secret sharing and shard up a key, whatever. You can give it to people. But ultimately, every single time I've seen this try to be relied upon, it comes to the point of recovery and you're a person short or someone's machine has died because they suffer from the same fate you did, which is why you need them in the first place. And so this and ensuring that things are still hot, things are still there and are still dependable, it makes the protocol robust and fit for purpose.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time today to go through this. I mean, I think this is an incredible outcome from an event like CFC, to see the industry coming together, building new technology that'll ultimately advance all of the ecosystem. So thank you guys for that contribution.
And thank you, Lehman, for having us on board.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. That was super cool, right? Really, really cool. Some key things I just want to share with you guys in regards to this in closing for the segment in regards to all of this. So you saw what was presented from both sides. Dr. Lehman Baird on the left, as you guys would say, the guy doing the alien sign language, right? And then the other gentleman from Algorand on the, was it the middle? So basically speaking, in my own notes that I want to present to you guys, it's like this. At the end of the day, why is this so significant? Why is it like important, you know, especially for us as in like investors into both Algo and Hbar, right? Well, there's several reasons for the significance of this Derec alliance that started literally today. So for one, it does address a critical need for these specific things, does it not? There's security concerns, of course, in just that DeFi, to say the least. Right? Self-custody of digital assets, of course, comes with risks, many different risks. Hence why we shared the whole thing about Vanguard earlier, right? Vanguard may think that the whole thing of Bitcoin ETFs is just too risky. But losing private keys can result in irreversible loss. True. Existing recovery solutions often involve centralized custodians or vulnerable single points of failure. Yeah, always got to address that. This whole thing of Derec, right, offers a robust solution. So again, supply and demand. I mean, you know, when more people get the news about this, I think it's going to be massive. But I mean, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Hbar and Algorand and, you know, Bank Social to the moon just yet. But with mass adoption, I think it definitely could be, because it is a robust solution. Every action has a reaction. By building a decentralized recovery system, the Derec Alliance aims to mitigate these specific risks and improve the overall security of the DeFi space. And how about this? Instill more confidence. Because, you know, I think later on, like we shared earlier, the whole thing about Vanguard deciding they changed their mind. They're going to do the whole ETF thing. Again, maybe they just kind of want to see what happens with the competition, if it's working out and so on. But to instill more confidence in the DeFi space is a win for all of us. Now, what about this whole thing about this collaboration and the innovation of it? Well, major industry players are in fact coming together. You already see it. You know, I said in the past, Hedera and Algorand, they seem like they're the greenest of the green, right, when it comes to all this. Well, this alliance does include prominent names like, for instance, such as these two, showcasing a unified effort to tackle a shared challenge. And that is, you know, for instance, whether it's seed recovery or some of these other things that was outlined by Dr. Lehman Barrett and so on. This collaboration signifies commitment and expertise, increasing the project's credibility and, of course, just that value. So you're hitting all sorts of different benchmarks that need to be hit. How impressive is that? What about the whole thing of open source and standardized approach? Did you not hear Dr. Lehman Barrett talk about standards? Gilbert Verdin always talks about them as well. The Derec open source protocol establishes a secure and transparent framework for digital asset recovery. True. And this is day one of this. How is that going to work out? I think it's going to work out beautifully. We'll have to see how, you know, where this goes. But it does foster in innovation and ensures compatibility across different platforms, benefiting the entire DeFi ecosystem. You know, I'm a gamer. I remember back in the day, my PlayStation 3, I thought it was the most amazing thing, having backwards compatibility. I could play my PS2 games, my PS1, and so on. Now apply that to the likes of what? DeFi and blockchain and distributed ledger technologies and so on. All compatible? That's a beautiful thing. Isn't that the whole point of this whole thing that we're into anyway? I think so. How about enhanced user experience? At the end of the day, if users can use this and it's simple to use, and you have Aunt May or whoever the heck it is, Granny, whoever, that can easily use it without having to understand a bunch of Greek, if you will, or coding, or just something that just seems too hard to do, you're winning over the masses. And if more masses come in from the percentages of people that are not part of the, 5% of crypto people like us, then that is the path towards mass adoption because of a streamlined recovery process. And listen to this for a second. This whole thing of Derec removes single points of failure and offers automatic confirmations and resharing, which enables a smoother and more reliable recovery process for users who lose their access keys. So I'm telling you, I think this is a magic moment. If you had to put a date on something, because, you know, sometimes we kind of do this, of where it starts, this is huge, absolutely massive news. And I can't thank GG enough, right? Digital G, for sharing this, because this is so significant. We talk about the pathway forward with innovation. This is it. Increase user confidence. Listen to this for a second. Knowing a secure decentralized recovery system is available can basically boost and very well instill user confidence and encourage wider adoption of self-custody. Yes, self-custody in just that, DeFi, right? That's what we want. There's more to it than just that. There's going to be things like strengthening user trust. We get it. But I want to keep, you know, I want you guys to take this away. Yes, this is in its early stages. And yes, you know, long-term success will depend on its execution integration with the broader DeFi ecosystem. But please know this, 2 standout quality projects that are part of what? The blue chips, if you will, coming together to achieve one common goal. I think it's huge. So with that said, that concludes our coverage tonight for this collaboration of Hedera Hbar and, of course, Algorand.